There are still people out there who think that Wing Chun practitioners don't move, that we have no footwork, that all we do is stand squarely in front of opponents in the highest danger zone or right in their line of sight. That may be true in the beginning stages of training, which there are reasons for, but it certainly isn't true for the intermediate and advanced stages. It doesn't take a genius to figure out that remaining squarely in front of the opponent is the most dangerous angle for us, and that getting completely behind the opponent is the safest. It's also pretty obvious that getting completely behind the opponent, although safest, is also the most difficult angle to achieve, especially against a resisting opponent. In training, a partner might give you a certain level of cooperation and let you work your technique and footwork to go around him and take his back, but a real opponent isn't going to willingly cooperate with you at all. So if your strategy is to wait until you're perfectly behind the opponent before striking, you'll be wasting too much time and effort and likely catching some hands. So we know that staying right in front of the opponent is less than ideal. And we also know that trying to get completely behind the opponent is highly inefficient. So what's the answer? As you may have guessed, somewhere in between these two extremes is where the answer lies. Generally speaking, it's best to try to position ourselves to strike from an angle where the opponent's backhand will have a harder time reaching us. But against anyone who is any good, who is fresh and ready to go, the best we can hope to achieve momentarily is a 45-degree angle, just like in the Yanzhang form. At this point, you may be wondering, why does Wing Chun training start with both partners facing each other squarely with zero footwork? Well, there are several benefits to training this way. First, as a complete beginner, it's much easier to learn hand techniques while not also having to learn footwork at the same time. Second, it allows us to learn to be ambidextrous from day one, which allows us to be more adaptable, unlike practitioners from other styles who may never learn this. Third, we learn to root our horse and maintain our balance while in a squared stance. I've already addressed the importance of training squared stances in a previous video, so if you're interested, I put a link in the description. And last but not least, we learn to deal with the most dangerous angle of attack first. That is, where the opponent can easily attack us with both hands. Think about it. If you get good at handling yourself while being in the worst angle of attack, shouldn't any other angle outside of that become relatively easier? Also, when it comes to physical altercations, this is the angle at which most fights start. Therefore, it would be in our best interest to learn to be as proficient as possible in dealing with this angle and position. All that being said, if you're someone who's been training squared stances and rootedness for a while now, and you're finding it difficult to transition to being more mobile and freeing up your footwork, something you can start doing, besides practicing the wooden dummy form, is to start playing around with your footwork and angles within the context of Chi-Sao. Break out of that old school tabletop Chi-Sao mentality and start exploring different combinations of stances and movements. If you give it a couple of months, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. Remember, real fights don't happen on tabletops and in phone booths. So if you're interested in learning more about angling and positioning, click on this video right here, and I'll catch you in the next one.